r/Askreddit. What knowledge might save your life one day? If you are ever bitten by a bat, raccoon, fox, or skunk, go directly to the hospital. There is no cure for rabies once it is fully onset. Out of all history, only 5 people survived rabies. Meredith Palmer being one of the 5. Yay, but only because of a very generous Memorial Celebrity Rabies Awareness Pro-Am fun run race for the cure. Did you do this on purpose? No, I was being negligent. Did this happen on company property? Yes, it happened on company property. And with company property. So double jeopardy. We're fine. I don't think you understand how jeopardy works. Sorry, what is we are fine? If you ever fall/get pushed down from the platform onto the rails at a subway station, try to roll under the platform. Many stations have space there, like little overhang, for exactly that reason. Well, my country sure wants people to die that way. They've got space under there but have blocked it up with a big metal fence. Maybe to also get electrocuted? To make sure you'll die before the train hits you horribly. Falls off train platform to see button labeled suicide where that overhang should be. It's just a sign saying tough luck, fuckboy. If you ever use boiled linseed oil to treat wood, don't leave soaked rags lying in the trash. They oxidize, and after a few hours can self-combust. The best way to deal with them is to lay them flat on the concrete NBSP, or put them in a bucket of water. The heat will dissipate if you do this. Crumpling it up and doesn't allow the heat to dissipate and could make them combust. I only learned of this a few weeks ago. I consider myself very lucky NBSP, because I use linseed oil often. It leaves a more natural wood grain color and it's my favorite treatment to use. It is a good finish for certain applications. If the finish gets damaged, just sand a bit and rub some more on. Pretty cool proof. EMT here. If you're ever choking on food in a public venue, do not go to the restroom to avoid causing a scene. Almost every death I've seen from people choking are found unconscious in a bathroom stall because they were too polite to seek help. I feel like if there's any situation in which it's okay to not be polite, it's when you're choking to death. I don't think people are necessarily thinking rationally when they are choking. For instance, if you see a video about signs of drowning, it's the opposite of what you'd think. Intuitively we'd think a person struggling to stay afloat would be splashing and screaming and making a big scene, but they actually are so focused on trying to keep their head above water that they're quiet and moving very little. Regarding running to the bathroom, this happened to a good friend of mine. He was on a long drive and eating alone at a small restaurant and started choking and instinctively made a beeline to the bathroom. Thankfully, to get to the bathroom you had to pass the entrance to the kitchen and the waiter was there and saw the alarm in his face. The waiter stopped him and asked him what was wrong and my friend was able to communicate that he was choking. The waiter did the Heimlich maneuver and dislodged the food from my friend's throat. But had the bathroom been somewhere else, or had the waiter been busy at another table, my friend would have been one of those dead people on the bathroom floor that I referred to. This happened to me at a bar in university. We were all playing quarters and I chugged a cup that had a quarter in it that I didn't know was there. This game had like 50 cups and was a mass event. I ran to the bathroom and couldn't dislodge it, but my good friend followed me seeing something was wrong and literally punched me in the back and I started puking and the quarter came out. Needless to say, I was paying for the bill that night. If you're a pedestrian and crossing a street, if you can see the sun's reflection on the windshield of a car, there's a good chance the driver cannot see you. If your shadow points toward the car, same. Basically always assume the driver can't see you. You might not feel like it's right and that you have the right of way, but on the other hand, you'll be alive to complain about it. This right here is so important. You never know when somebody will have a moment of inattention or be distracted by something. Maybe it's even more crazy than that and they do see you but something freaky happens like their brakes stop working. Or heck, maybe they are just crazy and actually trying to run you over. While that is an extremely unlikely scenario, the point that people need to remember is that you should never assume that the car will stop. Right or wrong doesn't matter when one person is in a car and the other is on foot. The car will always win. The sad part is so many people will not think about it regardless of how many times they are told. I know I did not pay anywhere near as much attention to cars when crossing the road until the day that a Jeep nearly tore my nose off with its mirror. I was at the crosswalk, I pressed the button, I had the walk symbol. But that didn't stop them from running a red light and being inches away from killing me. I can tell you that I have never set foot in a road without looking twice since. Pretty common attitude nowadays. We were a lot more alert and defensive as pedestrians when I was growing up. It's kind of like looking down the barrel of a loaded gun and saying, "He's not going to shoot me. He'd get in trouble." Boggles my mind. Female heart attack symptoms are often different than those commonly described, and women commonly assume they are just fatigued, or have the flu and die as they do not seek medical treatment. Uncomfortable pressure, squeezing, fullness or pain in the center of your chest. It lasts more than a few minutes, or goes away and comes back. Pain or discomfort in one or both arms, the back, neck, jaw or stomach. Shortness of breath with or without chest discomfort. Other signs such as breaking out in a cold sweat, nausea or lightheadedness. As with men, women's most common heart attack symptom is chest pain or discomfort. But women are somewhat more likely than men to experience some of the other common symptoms, particularly shortness of breath, nausea/vomiting and back or jaw pain. Women are more likely to lack chest pain. Instead, they may experience shortness of breath, pressure or pain in the lower chest or upper abdomen, dizziness, lightheadedness or fainting, upper back pressure or extreme fatigue. If you or a woman you know is fatigued, out of breath, has jaw pain and neck tension, feels nauseous, etc., they may be suffering a heart attack. Chest and left arm pain is not a universal symptom. Edit: panic attack symptoms often mimic heart attack symptoms. If you have chronic incidents where it feels you are having a heart attack, especially if you are cleared by an EKG or a cardiologist, it is possible anxiety is the true source. In this case, psychologists and psychiatrists are ideal for helping you identify, manage and overcome your symptoms as well as providing techniques to prevent future panic attacks. I'm an otherwise healthy 26-year-old woman and I have a lot of these symptoms which are unfortunately due to anxiety attacks. It sucks because then I start to think it's a heart attack and get more anxious and it gets worse. I want like a full body/heart scan to see if anything's wrong with me, but I also know it's just anxiety. It really sucks. If you ever are kayaking and become pinned upside down, swim down deeper into the water to escape the kayak. You may not be able to flip it over. I'm currently in the car going in kayaking, hopefully won't have to use this knowledge. You okay? Yeah, it was a shallow AF river. But thanks for looking out, Chief. Glad to hear you didn't die. Hope it was fun. Indeed it was. One of the guy's dogs swam the entire way, which was fun to just kayak next to the dog. Please tell me there's photo evidence of this. Yeah, but mostly just pics of the dog swimming alongside my uncle's. If you fall into cold open water, resist the urge to swim and try to float until the onset of panic subsides. Once you have your breathing under control, you can then start to swim to safety. By doing this you will not hyperventilate and avoid potentially drowning. To float, slowly lift your legs up, keep your arms out at surface and lean your head back. Yes, you will get water in your ears, just let it be. I'm going to try this next time in a pool. I've never been able to float, and your comment helped me realize why. Thanks. Yeah, I can do it. My legs just sink. Try gently pushing your hips toward the surface. Or, alternatively, try gently pushing the water under your legs towards the bottom of the lake. Exactly, it's as if people cannot control the billions of cilia on their leg skin. Honestly people, just propel water downward to locomote yourself through your substrate. Motility isn't that hard. If you're ever charged by a moose, get behind a tree. They have about a 10-inch blind spot and they'll lose you. That's what Ski Patrol would always say when there were an increase in moose sightings on the mountain. They'd tell you to stay out of the trees when skiing. Unless a moose is running at you, then find trees, because unless you've got a steep hill or are already up to speed, the moose is probably faster than you think. Was watching a video of someone driving alongside a moose while it was running in snow that was about chest high to the moose and it was hauling ass. I knew they were fast, but I never realized how fast until I saw that video. Similar to this. That's it. Holy shit. I thought they were driving. That snow might as well not have been there. If you've ever tried to walk through snow that deep, you really understand how scary it is. That beast is still pulling like 40 kilometers per hour. And it weighs about 800 kilograms. I can barely walk through snow that reaches mid-shin. As horrifying as it is, it would be pretty dope to see it in person. When you go into a building, look for an exit that is not the one you use to come in. In an emergency, most people will head out their original exit, but you will head out of the exit less traveled, and it may make all the difference. 2 exits diverged in a building, and I took the one less traveled by, and that has made all the difference. Okay, Robert Frost. Some say the world will end in fire, some say in ice. From what I've tasted of desire, use a second exit to avoid the fire. And you should know, Ryan started the fire. Fire guy. What does a bean mean? Thanks for watching everyone. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This is Experimental Journeys.